This podcast is being recorded and produced on Gadigal land.
We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past present.
We extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
I'm Brittney Saunders.
And I'm alright, hey.
And Matt, you sound so depressed.
Well, you know what? I am.
Put it on. It's fucking 15 minutes. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, Matt.
Huh?
Then you can go home to sleep.
Yeah. I'm not going home to sleep. I've got work to do, bitch.
I'm Brittney Saunders.
And I'm alright, hey.
And you have made your way onto our close friends list.
Because you don't put the juiciest goss on your main story. You keep it for your close friends.
You're really on one today, aren't you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm feeling so good and so happy and so fabulous. That's exactly what these episodes are for. So let's go. I don't even know. Come on, doll. Let's get into it.
We spoke on the main episode about something and it got me going into a story, but then we said, hang on a second, let's keep it for this.
Yeah.
Did you ever do work experience in school?
No.
I think it was when you were doing one of the TAFE courses as a subject in school.
Yeah, never did any of that. Couldn't be bothered. I was like, I'm not putting in extra effort, doll.
So I was doing business services, which is a TAFE course. Don't know what the fuck certificate that is. I think it was like learn how to write on the outside of an envelope. Like what? We learned like how to correctly put the person's name, address, where to put the postcode, where to put the stamp.
Are you kidding?
No.
That's a TAFE course?
Well, that's what was one of the parts of it.
They are pulling my fucking leg.
Well,
that is not a TAFE course. What else did you learn in it?
This was over 10 years ago, so it obviously wouldn't be the same now. Now it's probably like how to send an email.
No, that's not real.
It was
and why,
part of
but
it.
my thing is, why were you in it? I understand some people might need to learn how to
Because
write
it was
a
like
fucking
a
word on a
business
letter.
thing. I don't know. I was deep down maybe knowing that I was going to be in business one day. That's why I picked business services. I don't know what it was. I just didn't want to do any of the normal topics at school, so I just picked anything.
Right.
Anyway, when you do those TAFE courses through your school subjects, you have to go and do 2 rounds of work experience to complete the course. 1 week at one place, 1 week at another place. And the school chooses where you go. You don't get to pick where you go. And with business services, it was a lot of like learning admin and stuff, like working in an office role and all that kind of shit, which I don't know why I thought I'd be fucking interested in that. What? I can't work just sitting in an office. I'll go crazy. Yeah. I tried it, trust me. So anyway, I got given my 1 week. I think it was the first week of it because you do it like at 2 different times of the year. And my first one was doing 1 week of admin work at the Army Reserves in Newcastle.
Okay, so when you said this in the main episode, I thought we were going to get a story.
I am telling you a story.
No, I know, but I didn't realise you were going to be doing admin at the army. I'm expecting you to tell me you was doing all the guns and stuff and rolling around in the mud. I wanted you to see you climbing over things
I'm
and
gonna
all the
get
rest
to
of
that.
Okay.
So at this same time, I was trying to work out what I wanted to do for a career because my school was fucking going ham on us saying, you guys are fucking... Mind you, I'm like 15 or something because I was young for my year. And I'm getting pressured to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I'm 15 years old, a year young for my year. And so I'm flipping out. I went to the careers day for the army and was looking at choosing between the Navy and the army. And I fully had this one-on-one chat with this like sergeant guy, and he was giving me all the booklets and pamphlets and literally telling me all about how, you know how they go away for like the 8 weeks or whatever and do all that training at, I can't remember where it is, and then you do the day where your family comes. Like I was fully thinking I was going to fucking sign up to this. Don't know why. Anyway, so I don't know if that tied into me then getting put at the Army Reserves for my work experience.
Right.
So I remember thinking admin at the army, like what the fuck? Like I didn't even think that was a thing, you know, but obviously they need someone doing their admin. And so I go there. I'm 15 years old. Like I'm getting dropped there by mum or I'm catching the bus and walking in. I am so out of my comfort zone and I'm not the confident me that I am today. I'm like this shy schoolgirl. Anyway, I go into the Army Reserves. It's the most bland office that I've ever been to, like your typical office. Like I've worked in plenty of them. And I get put with a sergeant of this Army Reserves, and it was a woman. And she was so intimidating. Like, not friendly. Like, you could tell she was an army sergeant.
She was so she was working in admin though?
Yeah, like running the office and maybe like running the reserves. I don't remember. This was so long ago. Fuck, this is like 15 years ago. That's so fucked. Anyway, I went into the office, got introduced to all the people working in there, and then I got to do a tour around the reserves, and I went to like the medic, like there's a medic that's always working in there in the medical room. Then I went out to like the yard and whatever. And fuck, I hope no one that knows this woman's going to listen to this. This was 15 years ago, so who knows where she is now. But I very quickly noticed, and I don't know if it was just this particular place or if it's just like the army in general, they hated the general population.
What?
It was very much like they were different to us on the outside, and they were referring to all of us on the outside as civvies.
Oh, okay. Like
civilians. And very quickly, because we were just kind of sitting in the office, like I think they literally got me to photocopy a few things on this first day, and the conversation was just like always comparing civvies to them, and it just felt, the vibes were so off. Like I was like, I couldn't wait to fucking go home. And I had the whole week there. And this was the Monday. And they were just like talking down about the civvies and the civvy world. And again, like I don't want to generalize the people of the army, but I don't know if this is like traditionally how they talk about like the civvies.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know, maybe someone listening knows someone in the army or whatever. But it was very negative, and like I couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. Anyway, this day like went forever. I absolutely hated it. I think it was more like just the people were bringing the vibes down. Mind you, I'm 15 years old. I'm not fit. I'm not doing sport or anything. Then this big other sergeant guy comes in. Like, I'm so intimidated. Can you imagine? Like, they're all in their fucking uniforms with everything. And I'm just like, hello. Like this little fucking schoolgirl with blonde hair.
15 years old as well, around all these fully grown adults.
Shaking my hand like, yeah, and like being all serious. And then, so it turns out that every morning, it doesn't matter what role you do in the Army Reserves. And again, I don't know if it's the same now. This is 15 years ago. But you have to go in really early in the morning to do like their boot camp every morning.
Did you have to do that?
So this guy comes in on the Monday, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So tomorrow, because I think that I went there like 9 a.m. on the first day, but tomorrow, like you got to be in at 7 or whatever. First of all, I'm like, fuck that. Like I can't get up and be there at 7 o'clock to do like the boot camp and like the obstacle course and shit outside. And no matter what role they did, you were doing that every morning. And I was like, okay, yep, I'll be there. No worries. Anyway, worst day of my life. Went home and I just said, I'm not fucking going back there.
Did you do the boot camp the next day? No, you never went back.
I whopped for the rest of the week. And I just...
You what?
Whopped. Wagged.
Oh, what does whopped mean?
That's what we call
Honey,
whop.
there's a different meaning for whop in 2024. I was like, you whopped?
That's what we used to call it. Whopping
Okay.
school.
No, we called it wagging.
Yeah, same thing. That's what we called it in
What'd
Newcastle.
you call it, Hannah? Wagging. Wagging? What'd you call it, Toby? Wagging.
Well, we called it whopping.
Whopping.
No, W-O-P.
Wet ass pussying.
So anyway, I was that mortified from that day at the Army Reserves that I said to my mum, I'm not going back there. And because my mum didn't give a fuck about whether I went to school or not, she's like, I don't give a fuck. And so I just...
Good old Chaz.
I just simply didn't go back for the rest of the week, and I also didn't go to school.
Again?
I think it must have been the start of me quitting school. And my school, like the army rang my school the next morning to be like, where is she? And then my school rang my mum.
Not you going from a careers expo to the army making you drop out of school, but not because you're joining the army, because you just had such a bad day at the army that you decided to just change your entire trajectory in life and go, nah.
Well, I hated school anyway, so it wasn't because of that. Like, I hated school. I had the worst attendance record. But I remember them ringing my school.
I didn't wag once.
What?
No, not one time did I wag. The only time I skipped class was when I had an awful teacher for legal studies.
Oh.
And he was just horrible to me all year. Like one of those teachers where like I would not talk, but my friend was talking to me the entire time and I've got direct eye contact with him and I'm going, you know what? I'm just zoning in on him. I'm letting him know I am listening respectively. My friend is the one being disrespectful. I would literally after 10 minutes go, I just need you to be quiet. And he'd go, get out of my classroom. Like he just hated me. And I literally always did nothing wrong. And then one day I showed up really late, only like 5 minutes late. But I had a teacher beforehand keep me back because not for anything to be like I wasn't in trouble or anything. Not that I would have cared if I was. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. And was 5 minutes late to his class. And I knocked on the door was locked. And he opened the door and he did not say a word and he slammed the door in my face. And I went, well, fuck off, I'm going to Macca's. And so I went to got myself a lovely sausage muffin at McDonald's and then I went and sat in the library. And then he called the principal and said, Matthew is wagging.
Oh.
And then the principal the deputy principal came to see me in the library and was like, why aren't you in class? And I explained the situation. And the deputy principal sided with me. Good. And also I had a bit of a crush on him. So I was like, playing the damsel in distress.
I was 5 minutes late.
I know. And I really tried to be on time, sir, but maybe if I could just sit in your office instead for the time being, I was like really feeding into it. But anyway, he wrote me a note and gave me permission to go back to the class, which of course then I dilly-dallied around for 40 minutes and finally went back to the class and said, yeah, there's a note from the deputy principal, so shove it. And then anyway,
remember having fucking double something, like when you had double maths?
Never had that.
Oh, I remember hating that so much when you looked at your fucking timetable and it was like double maths and then double science. It was like you're in there for double the amount of time.
No, we never had that.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I remember one thing that we got into a habit of doing at school. I don't know if you did this at your school, but in summer, you know how they have like fans in the classroom? Like throwing things at the fan and watching it ping around the room, but you try and do it when the teacher's not looking, so then they turn around and they absolutely blow up. And we got real bad. Like it became a thing with our class. I was in a shit class. Like I wasn't in a good class. And then we'd throw like bits of food and stuff.
It's just ham and cheese sandwiches flying around the fucking classroom.
And no wonder the teachers would absolutely lose it, but it was a fucking highlight of my school days.
Do you want to know what I did once? Is in my English class. I don't know why I did this, but this is how weird I was in year 7, okay? So, like, in year 7, obviously I struggled to make friends. Hello, no one wants to be friends with a gay kid. And I thought, I'm going to do something that's going to get everyone on board. So what I did is I bought coloured paper. And I cut up the coloured paper into tiny, thousands of pieces of tiny paper. And I sat it all and I broke in because you could break in through the windows of our classrooms.
When?
Like they just slid open.
On the weekend?
No. Like at lunchtime. And we had like English 5th period. So after lunch. And so at lunchtime I snuck into the out of bounds area and I broke into the classroom. And I put thousands and thousands of pieces of paper on the fans. And it was summer. And then I turned the heater on and I left. And then we had English and we come in. The room is boiling hot. The teacher's like, why is it so hot in here? Who left the heater on? Turns the heater off. She goes, sorry, I'm going to have to turn the fans on. Turns the fans on. The confetti that I've put on the fans goes all over everyone in the room. And I'm sitting there like, this is so good, right? This is so good. Everyone was like, what the fuck is this? They were so angry. And I was like, I can't say a thing because I thought it was going to get everyone on board and everyone was going to be my friend because I've like pranked the class and done something so fun and everyone hated it. And obviously I like wore the guilty look on my face and everyone figured out that it was me because I wasn't a good liar. Then everyone just fucking hated me.
I would have loved it.
So
I would have thrown a ham and cheese sandwich up there.
Oh God, it's just sticking to the wall. Well, I'm glad you didn't join the army because, like, imagine. I just think that's not very you know.
I didn't know what was me back then. I was so desperate to leave school.
I feel like you've always had like really boring jobs. Like, what other jobs have you had? Like, I've had exciting jobs, you know? Like, I worked at a fucking water park as a lifeguard. I wasn't even accredited, but they let me work there anyway. And I was getting $20 an hour cash in hand. And I was like 12 years old. No, I was like, I don't know how old I was. No, this was when I was 19. When I was 12, though, I worked at a carnival on the clowns. You know, you put the ping pong ball in the clowns.
Fun.
Worked there. Also operated the merry-go-round as a 13-year-old.
Oh,
Definitely not allowed.
No.
But, you know, I grew up on the Central Coast, so things, you know, no one, work health and safety. What the fuck is that? So, worked in a water park out the back of Baddo Pub. And the water slides.
Wait, there was a water
The water slides they'd bring in and they were inflatable. So they'd just blow up the water slides.
What if they fucking popped?
And I literally... No, it did. So I had to save... Again, no accreditation. I don't even know how I got this job. I have no idea. I think I was so... Oh, because that's right. I was working somewhere. Oh, I got a job in a call centre and I was working in Sydney. This is in 2013. And so I was... Yeah, this is when I was 19. I was working in Sydney at a call centre and then I got fired for being gay. It's a long story, but like it's a conspiracy theory, but also... I overheard a conversation where they were like not being nice about me being gay, and then suddenly the same day I also got fired. And anyway, because I wasn't like really flamboyant back then, and then when they figured it out, I don't know. I think the call center was run by maybe a religious group of some sort. But anyway, the point is, I had lost that job, or they were going to fire me, and then I quit anyway, and it was all a big thing. I lost that job and didn't have a job for 9 months. Was like struggling. And so when this water park came to the local pub, I desperately went there, I think, and was like, can I please have a job? And they gave me one. It was great. I'd get half price off Dagwood dogs.
Pluto pups.
Yeah, Pluto pups. And anyway, the water slides would blow up, and literally I would have to sit at the top of one of the blow up, like a jumping castle. Imagine a jumping castle. I'd sit at the top of the jumping castle that had a pool at the bottom.
How big is this thing?
Oh, like huge. Like there were huge ones. You know those ones that are like on water?
Yeah,
like
that.
the big inflatable ones on water.
Car park
like that. No, it's on the back lawn. But they've set up all these pools. Anyway, I'm at the top with a fucking garden hose, spraying it on the slide for these fucking 3-year-olds to slide down it. And I'm sitting at the top, and multiple
wish there was
times...
photographic evidence of this.
There is. I could probably find some. I'll probably find some and put it on my story or something.
Okay.
But I'd have to... And multiple times, the water slides would... either the generator would go off, or they'd get a hole in them, and they would deflate. And I am there multiple times throughout this summer. I'm up the top of the water slide, and you just knew because you heard the generator go off, and you just feel the jumping castle sort of thing start to deflate.
And you're on the top,
I've got to get
down.
3 kids up in my arms, like on my shoulders, round my neck, and I'm running down this deflating jumping castle water slide fucking thing. We are getting crushed. Parents are screaming for their kids. I'm screaming, it's all right, I got him. It's all good. Again, no accreditation. But I was just like, it's all good. We're all good. And because they would just, it was like one of those water parks, they would just hire all the backpackers.
Yeah.
So every single other person who worked at the water park was German, and I couldn't understand a word and they had no idea what I was saying either. And I remember one night on the final night, we all, because, you know, the water park would close at like 5 o'clock because obviously you just want it throughout the day. Then we kept them all up instead of packing them all down. And we all like went on the water slides and then had a big like piss up and bonfire out there and all the rest of that, and had like a big
Batteau Bay pub.
Yeah.
I just keep envisioning this at Batteau Bay.
The funniest thing is, Brittney, because of the language barrier, I was just getting drunk by myself, and everyone's trying to have conversations with each other, but I can't understand their German accents or German in general. Like, it was very broken English. And like, just imagine being at a party when no one else speaks your language and you're getting absolutely drunk and going on water slides with everyone, but no one can talk to each other. Like, it was just the weirdest experience of my life. Anyway, that's probably the weirdest job I had, but what's the weirdest job you had?
I've had a lot of random jobs. I had over 20 jobs from the ages of 14 to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I lied on my resume completely because I obviously wasn't going to keep all of them on there.
Mm-hmm.
The most random one that I had, like, we've already spoken about me working at Aussie Bush Camp. So everyone already knows that. I was a sports instructor for school kids at Aussie Bush Camp. That was pretty random. The other random one was probably when I was 16, So when I dropped out of school, I was waitressing. Like I'd been working at this restaurant for ages. And then I got a second job, which I thought was like a full-time job. But it was selling Ozstar, which is Foxtel, but for people that lived in areas that Foxtel wouldn't service. So more like regional areas would get Ozstar. You would know that, Hannah, in bloody wherever you're from. Dubbo. So I got this job, and with Ozstar, I don't know what it's like now, but back then, like external third-party companies would become like the salespeople for Ozstar. Like I wasn't working directly for Ozstar. I was working for some MLM, quite literally an MLM. But they sold it to me like I was a sales associate. And I would get on the train because I was on my L's. I'd get on the train every morning at the fucking crack of dawn from Hamilton and Newcastle, and I'd go out to Maitland, which is like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes on a train, because that's where their little head office was. And then I'd go in there, we'd do our morning team meeting, and then we'd put on the gear, like the Ozstar like shirt and hat and whatever, and then we'd jump into cars and carpool out to like the local shopping centres, so like Green Hills, Rutherford, like random fucking shopping centres, and like those little ones that just have like a butcher and Coles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we would set up in the middle of the shopping centre with our table and put the cloth on it and all the pamphlets that we'd have, and then I would stand there all day trying to fucking stop people and get them to sign up to a 12 or 24 month contract for Ozstar. Mind you, I'm 16. And
could you even be like facilitating signing of contracts at that age?
Who fucking knows back then? But the company was so dodgy. I think they ended up getting in a heap of trouble down the track, and there's a lot of companies like that.
Was it actually an MLM?
Yes, because I was not getting paid by the hour.
Right.
I was only working for commission.
Okay.
And then the guys that I was working with kind of like owned the MLM company that I was working for. And like they were pushy. So like I'd be talking to a customer and then they'd like steal the customer off you and like get the sale. And I only worked there for honestly like 3 or 4 weeks. And then like there was weeks where I would earn $0 and I was working full time.
What?
Because like, do you know how hard it is to fucking stop someone that's just going to Woolies to get a few things and sign them up to a 24-month contract? Mind you, this is before Netflix, anything like that. So it was more popular for people to have Foxtel and stuff like that. But it was really fucking hard. And I'd say that's the most random job that I have ever had. And you know what? I'm confident now, but I couldn't do that for a job now. So I don't know how at 16 I actually had the fucking courage to stop people in the middle of the shops and be like, hey, do you want to sign up to this 24-month contract?
I couldn't do any of that. When I worked at Domino's, they used to ask me to go and stand on the side of the road and wave the big sign.
I'd do that.
Nah, no way.
I saw someone doing it at a new Guzman that opened near us the other day, and I was like, beep.
Also, speaking of MLMs, can I admit something to you just before you wrap up this podcast?
What MLM did you sign up to? I nearly signed up to a few in my day too.
I used to be part of an MLM.
What one?
Allegedly, I guess. I don't know if you're allowed to call them actual MLMs and pyramid schemes. Like, I don't know if you're is
we'll say allegedly.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't actually mind that I did this because I actually don't regret it. I was a consultant for the Body Shop at home.
Yeah, see, I feel like the Body Shop is one that I can excuse.
Yeah, right? That's what I thought too.
Is good. Like, they had their at-home thing. My cousin was one too, and she did really well.
Yeah.
See, I can, forgive a few of them, like Tupperware. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can be allegedly MLM.
Yeah.
Like Nutrimedics back in the day in Avon.
Yeah.
Like our mums used to have, but all the others, nah.
We were a Tupperware household. Like, if it wasn't Tupperware, Mum wouldn't have it in the house. She was obsessed with Tupperware. And the thing is, she's still got all the Tupperware.
Yeah.
30 years later.
Forever.
But, yeah, I was a consultant for the Body Shop at home. I actually loved it. I was literally going to people's houses and doing body shop.
I love the parties.
Saying, here we go. We're going to the mango.
Butter?
Yeah, mango body butter now. And then I'd have to get in my car and go and drop everyone's Body Shop products off to them. And I did it because I worked at the Body Shop, and then my contract ended, and I was only there for Christmas casual. And then
See, it doesn't feel as MLM-y because they have all their stores and they've still got their stores.
They're good products. And I never signed anyone up. I wasn't about that. I loved the Body Shop back then. I was so obsessed.
Wanted to sell the products.
And wanted discounted products for myself as well. I was like, well, I get a discount. I genuinely was like, the Body Shop products are freaking fantastic. So
those OG body butters,
I
they
wanted
still
to do that. So I didn't mind, and I don't think it's very MLM-y, in my opinion. Like, it obviously is. Like, they definitely had a big push on that, and
They've ended all that, though, haven't they?
Yeah,
Just
they
recently.
don't do any of that anymore. But I never signed anyone up. I was never into doing any of that. I was just in it for myself, and obviously that's how you make the big bucks, and I absolutely didn't. I remember I would, again, do those parties, and after getting my commission, maybe walk away with $140. It's like all that work, dropping everyone's stuff off, putting in the orders, actually setting up the party, going there, hosting the whole party,
making sure your kit's full.
You know, like the hours compared to the return on investment wasn't great. But I feel like, I know this sounds bad, but we should start an MLM.
Because I'd fucking love to.
Because that's the only way. All those people you see who have made millions, they're one of the first 10 people in the company, you know what I mean? Because they're just making money off the thousands of others. I feel like that's what we need to do, is just create an MLM. I have some ideas. We'll go over them in another episode. I'll brainstorm them.
All right. Well, everyone can look forward to our new MLM that we're starting. And because you've listened this far in this episode, you are already signed up to the MLM.
Yeah, for sure. So pay us $459.
Is that how much it is to sign up?
Yeah.
Okay,
for
yeah.
Sure.
And is it like
you got to get your kit. You got to get your kit with all the stuff.
And is it like a yearly payment as well?
No, just the one kit, and
okay,
you got to top it up.
Good. That's,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got to top it up.
And we'll be coming out with new things for your kit every month. And you have to buy the new
seasonal
products.
items.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
we're going to be billionaires, still. Can't wait. Move over, Kylie Jenner.
Well, that's it for another Close Friends episode, Matt.
Yep.
Any final words?
Nah.
Okay, see yous.
Love ya. Bye.